wardens, the ambulance drivers, and there's the wail of the banshee. The nightly siege of London has begun.
Quick, George. No, leave that. Get your coat and scarf.
It wasn't the first air raid, but was certainly the biggest so far. And it right in the middle of winter. Brrr, I don't expect you'd like to have to rush outside in your pyjamas to sit in a shelter. Our handy Andy. That's what we call our Anderson shelter. It's a corrugated iron arch shelter that Father and I built, and half buried in the garden. Mother has tried to make it nice with a rug and some pictures, but it's still cold, damp and cramped.
Close the door. I tell you what, I'd almost rather die in my bed in my fur coat than sit here for another night.
Yeah, Dad says that if the Germans don't kill us, pneumonia will.
I'm inclined to agree. How many weeks now? 16? 17? And always at night. Hitler is determined we shall get absolutely no sleep.
At least we can hide in the blackout. Look, the sky's glowing. They must be hitting the docks hard tonight, and I can see sparks like stars falling over by the church.
I said close the door! Let your father and the ARP watch for anything that might cause a fire. I do hope he remembered his balaclava. It's perishing out there. Come on, we could be in here for hours. Get the cards out and put the kettle on.
As Dad's an electrician, he's run a wire from the house into the shelter, so we've got some light and a stove for making tea. Our neighbours have covered their shelter with soil and are growing flowers and carrots on it. I'd rather have a cup of tea to a carrot.
I do hope the Kilpatricks went to the local shelter tonight rather than sitting under that table. I know a Morrison shelter's cheap, but it looks like they're chickens in a cage. What if the roof fell on them?
Father says they're strong enough to take the upstairs floor falling on them, but I wouldn't like to be buried in rubble, alive or not.
Phew, all over. Let's get inside.
There was another air raid warning a little while later, and we heard the sound of planes and distant bombs throughout the night. The next morning, I went for a walk to see what's what. On the other side of the common, a number of houses were gone. Fires were still blazing, and the smoke was choking. There were firemen everywhere, and hoses snaking across the streets. They must have been exhausted, but were still cheerful, determined not to let Hitler think we were beat. I saw a family walking along, carrying suitcases and pushing a wheelbarrow containing what looked like a clock, a bundle of clothes, and some pots and pans. They must have been unlucky and lost their home. Peter was out with the scouts, trawling through the rubble to help people find their valuables.
Hi, fancy lending a hand? Look what I found. Someone's teddy bear. I'll keep hold of that. Maybe we can find its owner. That'll make someone happy. Gotta keep morale up. What's it they say?
Business as usual. Where did you shelter last night? The crypt at St. Mary's again?
Nah, Mother said it was too cold, damp and smelly and creepy. We headed over to the underground station. We thought we were quick, but by the time we got there, folk had already spread out their bedding on the platform, and you had to be careful where you stepped. People were sitting all over the place, on bunks against the wall and on the floor. There was a nice lady selling cups of tea and sausage rolls. Some old timer had a banjo, and people were singing to hide the noise of bombs and anti-aircraft guns. Quite a party really, until the wardens told us to shut up and go to sleep.
Sheltering in the stations was going to end up being part of daily life for many, including Peter and his mum. I mean, it's obvious when you think about it. Underground stations are safely underground, and with all those platforms and tunnels have lots of space. They even put toilets in at some. The powers that be took a lot of convincing to open them up, but thank goodness they did. They saved thousands of lives, although I don't think Peter was ever really convinced.
I'd rather be in a creepy crypt. The idea of going down there night after night, the air's thick and it's muggy and quite smelly. You try getting to sleep with a load of whiffy old people and crying babies. And privacy? What's privacy?
Well, at least you're safe, and have sausage rolls.
You're right. What could be better for morale than that?
The Blitz went on for another 5 months. It wasn't just in London, but also Birmingham, Coventry, Sheffield, Liverpool, Plymouth, Southampton, Portsmouth and Manchester, places where factories and other important industries are based. By the end, 60,000 people were killed, 87,000 seriously injured, and 2 million homes were destroyed. Many children were orphaned, or lost brothers and sisters. But like Peter, many youngsters pitched in to put things right. The scouts and the guides, and older kids. Many who'd lost their families helped pump water, raise alarms, take messages, and clear things up, so we could get back to business as usual, even though life was anything but.
Next time, the Blitz kids are finding it harder to get everyday things that they want. Not just food, but fuel and clothes, and they're having to spend more and more time in queues with their ration books.
Blitz Kids, an inspiring audio production for fun kids, created with support from the National Lottery Heritage Fund. Find out more at funkidslive.com/blitz.